Okay, we're up on the Sunshine Coast and we're doing a removal of unwanted species of pine within an area for southeast Queensland water. This is the thickness, they're pretty juvenile trees, but there's some up to about 8 inches. This is the density that we started with. The machines are working behind us. We'll take you up now and show you the second stage that we're up to in the first area. The initial area is to knock the trees down. The second stage is to mulch them on the ground, and the third stage is to groom them. So we'll give you a look at this to begin with, then the second step, then the third. This is knockdown stage of the operation. You can see that there's a fair amount of debris on the ground. That'll be taken care of in the grooming steps that will follow. Initially we'll put the material on the ground. You can hear the machine working in the background. After that stuff is put down and broken up, we'll address a grooming run across it. If the camera pans to the left, you'll see a finished product behind the camera. This whole area will look like that at the end. You'll notice that all the native trees are left in situ. Another asset of these machines is that the poundage pressure put to ground is about 3.5 pounds per square inch. If you can see the material that we're working on here, it's quite damp and reasonably soft. So it doesn't leave an imprint as such that you would find with a machine that ran perhaps a single grouser cleat. These are treble grousers, so their footprint's reasonably light. And of course, as I said, 3.5 pounds per square inch, it's not a situation where you're going to have a great amount of soil disturbance and therefore erosion. The beauty of a machine that doesn't apply too much ground pressure around these native trees results in a situation where we're not having compaction around the root zone of the tree. Therefore, after the grooming and the job is affected, you don't have a situation later on where you have compacted areas around the roots and therefore deterioration of the trees or the feeder roots. It's an ideal application for eradication of unwanted species such as lantana, pine in this instance, and any other weed species that have taken hold. To give you an idea, on reasonable ground, these machines will chew out approximately 5,000 square metres of thick lantana, and I do mean thick, up to about 3 metres high in a day on good going. As I said to you earlier, there are 3 stages in the operation of knock down, chip up onto the ground, and finally a groom. I'll just show you, this is an end result of the groom. You can see that this material will blend with the existing topsoil. We've found in the past that after a grooming session on an area like this, we found that native grasses were very quick to come back. Makes the situation easy to broadacre spray if it were a species that grew rapidly, but in past experience on re-veg sites, we've found that the native vegetation came back pre the weed species. So you get a fair amount of aeration of native seed that's in the soil, and with this small amount of cultivation and the mulching effect on top, you get that regeneration of those native grasses and woody trees. If you have a look to the right-hand side, this is the second stage after the knockdown. This is where it's put onto the ground. It's a heavier chip, as you can see. This is pre-grooming. So you can have it like this in an area where you don't have too much transport. It'll be sufficient to leave at that stage, or we can go to that fine grooming layer that we've put on in this stretch next to the fence line. Just in addition to this fine grooming that we've put here, this could be groomed to another stage, which would blend the groomed material with a top layer of topsoil that exists. This particular site doesn't require it. However, we wanted to show you the contrast between knockdown, chip up stage and groom. We could show you a finer layer if you required it in an area that had high traffic, pedestrian traffic, something like that, where trip factors wouldn't be an issue, and the mulch blends better with the topsoil, enhancing the chance of regrowth of native species.
Get the tickets of what I most job over there.